Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Hummel Tier 6 German SPG. It's on the south spawn of Prokhorovka and it's under the command of Angelina 75. Game started. Well, Angelina's, the partner of Talon 1958. They both use Hummels with the stock gun for a very good reason. It's much more accurate. It also fires faster. And well, it's a better if you're going to mark the vehicle. Now she's gone into the bushes just north of the railway crossing, which is quite usual because on a game like this you need to be fairly close to the enemy because the stock gun actually has a shorter range, but it's much more effective at hitting enemy targets because it's got a higher trajectory. It's a 15cm howitzer, and as you can see here, it's capable of 540 alpha, penetrating 38mm of armour, and it's got a burst radius of 7 meters. So even if the shell lands close to an enemy target, it's going to do some damage and potentially stun them as well. Su-76 seen over on the other side of the battlefield. He's already taken fire. Angelina dials in, fires a round in, and oh, she killed him! One shot, and he actually did go unspotted temporarily, just briefly before he died. And there's one of the enemy Arty, an Su-5. He's just fired. Angelina's just waiting for the reload to complete, and I don't think this player knows that he's been seen because he's not moving anywhere. Oh, and the shell fell short, but I'm certain it would have damaged that Su-5. And the question is, has he moved or not? No, he didn't. One of our teammates got him. T-67 pulling away from the centre line, and he's running very rapidly, but there's a duck, the AMX-40. He's sitting just short of the village, hiding behind that house. Well, Angelina's going to try and fire a round in to splash him. 59 hit points from that. Now she can demolish that house if she wants to. Just one round at the centre of the house will actually take it out and knock it down. And then he will actually probably move on to the next house for cover. But he's come out to the open now. And the next shot hits him for 193. But he's pressing forward. As you can see, he's actually destroying scenery as he moves forward. And in fact, actually, he's turned to his left. And it's actually now proceeding to the east through the village. T-67 came over the centre line on a rather crafty little reconnaissance run. You can see lots of shells going in his direction. Angelina didn't get a chance to fire, but it's a good job she didn't, because if she had, there's a good possibility the T-67 would have realised she was close. But it looks like he's popped over the centre line again. Unfortunately, there are two tanks down on the enemy at the moment. They seem to be doing rather well. The only two tanks that our team have killed were Angelina's Su-76 and of course that Su-5, which Angelina damaged badly. Okay, over on the other side of the battlefield on the west side, we've got a Valiant right out in the open. And of course he doesn't really care about this because he's actually got fairly decent armour. But a lot of Valiant drivers seem to be very arrogant. They sit there not caring that people are firing at them. And then they eventually die because they've taken too many shots. Yes, that guy's out of the game. Maybe he'll learn a lesson, but I doubt it. That AMX-40 has got to a position where we can't hit him because obviously we can't fire up over the railway carriages and hit him because they're in the way. But Angelina's following this T-67, lining up a shot, fires one in and wounds him for 142. And he obviously didn't like that. And in fact, actually now a BT-7 is fairly close to Angelina on the other side of the railway line, and she has been proxy spotted. So she's now having to move to avoid being shot at by the last remaining enemy Arty, which is also a Hummel. And there's the enemy tank that spotted her. It's a BT-7. And there's the T-67 as well. She's going for the BT-7. And a nice big solid hit. A splash hit for 186. But the guy's still active. Luckily, the T-67 is out of the game, and the BT-7 goes down. Just behind her is that AMX-40 duck. Yes, he actually came over the railway line and he's been joined by Matilda. And Angelina is about to shoot a round right up his posterior, or right into his side now, actually. Rounds out. Yep. Oh, that's a kill. Right into the side. The Valiant did a good job of whittling down his hit points, but Angelina's shell actually overwhelmed him. And the scores are now even, but it looks like the enemy has control of the hill and the east side of the map, so she might want to consider moving. Trouble is, in order to move, she's going to have to go right across the battlefield. You don't want to stay near to the railway line when the enemy has control of the hill, but oh, here's another reason not to move, and it's an AMD 178B over on the west side. The enemy KV-2 just took out one of our M10s, and there is an enemy tank now behind us, only a short distance away, and Angelina's just spotted it. It's a Valiant. He's come down the east side of the map, and we've just lost one of the Valiants that were behind us. So Angelina's trying to get a shot into this guy. She's almost loaded. Oh, she got a reticule bloom there. That happens when the vehicle has to move to actually keep the target within the field of fire. Over on the other side of the battlefield, the AMD is continuing to troll our teammates. And they're having a bit of difficulty trying to kill him, but they finally get around in to wipe him out. But that Valiant is still further south than Angelina. She's having to move closer because I think she suspects he has actually come over the railway line.
Moving in to support you.
The Valiant's going to go past us. He's going to support. If he can spot where they are, Angelina can put a round in. Oh, and look at this. Over on the other side of the battlefield, we're now virtually out of teammates. The enemy KV-2 is coming down the tree line. There's a Panzer IIIJ attacking, and Angelina's trying to dial in, and she fires just as the vehicle was destroyed. And there's a KV-1 alongside that KV-2, because this KV-2's now unspotted. You need to lead the target just a little. That's right, because it's a fairly long distance for the shell to go before it hits the target. She lines him up. Rounds out, but he's moved, and only 122 hit points to splash. Okay, there is a Valiant, and he has come across the railway line. He's just a short distance away from Angelina now, and this is increasingly looking like a loss. They're 2 to 1, outnumbered 2 to 1. 3 on their side, 6 on the enemy team, and they just lost the Valiant that was defending Angelina, and now she's the only one near to the railway line. The only other teammate she's got is a T-67. He's in the centre of the map, but he's facing a KV-1 and KV-2. And, of course, there are other enemies coming in like a Stug 3G. Angelina's looking at which target to hit. In fact, I think she's going to go for the Stug. Yep, nice hit, but she did take damage from the Valiant. And he now knows where she is, and that's the end of her game. Well, the T-67 killed the Stug. Thanks to Angelina, putting in a lot of damage, but I don't think that T-67 is going to last very long. He's taking more damage, and it's only a matter of time now. Yep, and that's it, game over. So, unfortunately, it is a defeat, but let's have a look and see how well she did during this game. Well, she got a second-class tanker in the Hummel. And she also managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In this one, she managed to get 20. And on top of that, she got a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and a Confederate for also hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on her team. And her win rate from that battle was 3001, which is Super Unicum standard. And, well, it just goes to show she does play very, very well, and she does a lot of damage, and that's why she picked up 2 medals in this game. But there was nowhere she could go in the end. Unfortunately, her team fell apart around her. She was the last one alive on the east side of the map, and then the T-67, well, he wasn't going to stay alive very long when faced with that many opponents. If we look at the team score, we can see, yes, she did get the highest damage in the game, 1,718 hit points of damage. The next high scorer being the KV-1 on the enemy team with 1497, and after that, the T-67 on her team with 1439. And when it came to kills, it was that T-67. He shared the top spot, 4 kills with the KV-2 on the enemy team. And then 3 kills were earned by the KV-1 and 2 kills by Angelina, despite the fact that she actually hit a Confederate, which means she actually hit at least more than 6 tanks, enemy tanks, that were subsequently killed by others, which meant, of course, she must have hit a lot of the enemy. When it came to base XP, yes, I'm afraid it's the enemy team who did the best. The AMD 178B, who managed to pick up a Patrol GT and a Scout, got 1,165 base experience points, 761 went to the Valiant, and 658 went to the KV2 on the enemy team. Angelina only got 467 in that game. She was slightly behind the T67. He did 1,054 hit points of spotting assist in that game, and his win rate was 5,325, which is not bad at all. And I think that's probably why he got the spotting assist, and that's why his XP is slightly higher. She fired 13 rounds in that game, got 4 direct hits, no penetration, 11 splash. Damage of 1,718 hit points, of which 1,351 were up more than 300 meters. So you can see there was some close range action, notably on that Matilda, and then on the Valiant and the other tanks that crossed the railway line behind her. 2 hits received, both from the Valiant, both penetrated and ended her game. 10 enemy vehicles were damaged, 2 kills, so that's an 8 difference. That's why she earned the Confederate in this game, because she was hitting a lot of the enemy. 243 hit points of damage assistance and 487 hit points of stun assist off 9 stuns. On a premium count, she earned 37,154 credits and got 6,161 for courageous resistance. That's for getting a battle hero medal in a losing or drawn game. Total 43,314 credits, and after repair and ammunition resupply, she took away 34,736 credits profit. She earned 700 XP, got 415 XP for courageous resistance, and took away 1,116 experience points altogether. So pretty good game by Angelina 75. Just a pity that her team weren't up to her standards, because if they were, they would have won that game easily. Sadly, only the T67 on her team was up to it, and I'm afraid when faced with 5 enemies all firing at him at the same time, yeah, no chance of surviving, I'm afraid. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel, please. And thanks for watching.